Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I would like to wish everyone out there, and you too, a Merry Cowboys, because now the NFL world is right again because it revolves around my Cowboys. Everything's great.
All I know is your AFC pick ain't looking good.
Really?
Nope.
Well, because half the team couldn't play last night.
Don't do that.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
You ain't gonna like what I gotta say?
I think I'm gonna love what I'm about to say.
Football on Monday, and hey, the Vikings gotta win. I can be happy about that. Guys, playing without their head coach and a third-string QB, Cleveland lost 16-14 to Las Vegas. The Baker Mayfield-less Browns' playoff hopes took a hit as they now sit at 7-7, and despite having Super Bowl buzz earlier this season, they now only have the 9th best odds to win the AFC, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Shannon, how much is Baker to blame for the Browns' disappointing season at this point?
He deserves as much blame as you gave him credit for last season's success. That's really? All I know. Yep.
Oh, I saw a different season.
No. Now it's a different season. Because all last year you talked about was those 11 games.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
People at home. Can I frame this for the people at home and for you?
Well, I'm sitting right here. So you could probably tell me unless you're afraid.
No, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to frame it for the people at home. Just imagine, over the last 4 years, no matter what you've done, people will only take your 11 best days, your 11 best minutes, your 11 best hours. No matter what you had done, it says that's who you are. Because that's what Skip Bayless has done.
11 games is a lot of games.
Exactly. Yeah. So was 2019 a lot of games? 2019, was that a lot of games?
Wasn't that when you proclaimed him shake and bake and you were driving his bandwagon?
All you try to do is obfuscate. I'm asking a simple question. Was 2019, 16 games, enough games?
Yes, and you were driving Baker's bandwagon and said Baker Mayfield's QBR. Are you going to let me talk or you just going to interrupt?
No, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. This season's Baker QBR is 25th. In 2019, it was 19th. In 2018, it was 23rd. Last season is 10th. So now I see a 25, a 19, a 23rd, and a 10th.
A 10th? That's pretty good.
A 10th seems like the anomaly. When I see 25, 19, 23rd, that seems to be more the norm of who he is. But
wait a second. 4 head coaches and 4 coordinators in 4 seasons?
What's the common denominator in all of that? He might be the reason they're getting fired.
Chaos.
Now it's chaos.
Yeah.
See, what happens is that when you're the number 1 overall pick, you have to be great. Everybody proclaimed you to be great. You are the savior of a franchise. He has a brash personality. We love that's Baker. He has a chip on his shoulder. He'll spit in your eye. He's spitting in the Cleveland Browns fans' eyes because every time they think they got something, they do not have it. This season, Baker Mayfield is 6-6. If that is not average, there's nothing great about 6-6. If you look at his overall record, it's 29-28. There's nothing great about that. At the end of the day, this is who he is. This is what he is. He's a slightly above, if not average quarterback. That's what he is, Skip Bayless. You don't want to. Listen, think about it. He got linemen. He's going to have at least 2, maybe 3 linemen make the Pro Bowl. He got a running back that made the Pro Bowl.
How'd they run it yesterday?
I don't know. You tell me. Go ahead and read it. No. You don't talk about how they run it yesterday.
It was shockingly bad yesterday.
Nick Chubb had 23 carries.
Yeah. They were averaging 3.7 yards per carry yesterday. With all those Pro Bowl linemen and Nick Chubb? Seriously? I thought they'd run the Raiders off the field. Nope.
Hold on.
Nope.
What they run the Raiders off the field? The Raiders do get paid, right? But anyway, we talking about this is about Baker Mayfield. Don't try to obfuscate. You see, you didn't mention anything about that offensive line when he won those 11 straight. When he was the third-graded quarterback, you didn't mention any of those offensive linemen.
Shannon learned a new word last night. Obfuscate.
Yeah. You never mentioned Nick Chubb. You didn't mention Kareem Hunt.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I thought they were great.
No, you thought they were great, but you didn't say what they graded. You say Baker Mayfield was the third or fourth
best over the last 11 games. Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, graded him 4th.
And I said,
behind Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so I ask you a very simple question.
Yeah.
How did Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the ball factor in that high rating?
Every quarterback needs a running game.
You see, what happened was they removed Odell. See, what you've done now is that it was Odell. Odell goes away, now it's the injuries. Injuries that you never mentioned when he won. When he went and hung 40 points on Cincinnati, I didn't hear nothing about a labrum.
That was
I didn't
pretty
hear nothing
good,
about
wasn't it?
Yeah.
41-16.
What about those 6 losses? Is that pretty good? Those 6 losses?
Yeah.
6-6. At the end of the day, I'm going to put this in a nice... We're coming up on criminal time. I'm going to put this in a nice bow for you.
Okay.
I got some nice paper for you also. So you're going to open this and you're going to be surprised. You got average. You guys average. That's what he is right now, Skip Bayless. He's an average quarterback that you want to make great, like others have tried to make him great. He's not it. Trust me. He's not that guy, Skip.
Trust you?
He's not that guy.
I find it hard to trust you because you told me before that draft that Sam Darnold was it. That's what Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, told me.
You told me Baker Mayfield is
it. Okay, who's better, Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold? Who would you take him right here, right now?
Would you rather get run over?
I think I'd beat you in the draft I think I'll take Baker Mayfield.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather get run over by a Mack truck or a dump truck? When equally is fatal.
I don't know. Equally as fatal. Baker Mayfield last year went 8-3 down the stretch, and you failed to note the critical factor. There was no Odell. He gets hurt in that one game at Cincinnati. God bless him. I'm knocking on wood for him. And Baker took off. 20 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. Baker Mayfield led that team into Pittsburgh against their arch division rival in a playoff game at Pittsburgh and laid it all over him. Had a QBR of 91 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions.
How many turnovers did they get? How many turnovers did they get?
All I know is he threw 3 touchdown passes and had a QBR of 91.
Okay.
Is that good?
Okay. How many 91s do you have this year?
Interesting. Well, it's my turn now. Right? Okay. So I want the people at home to understand.
No, talk to me.
I want the people at home to understand that Baker Mayfield was so awful this football season that last night, Baker Mayfield's Cleveland Browns were playing for first place in the AFC North. First place! If they win the game that they should have been able to win if they'd been at full strength, they would now be in first place in the AFC North. And Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, just told me it's all Baker's fault. Really? Well, if you blame him as much as you credit him, well, I'm going to give him credit for having his team in position to take over the North. They would have been tied with the Ravens and tied with the Bengals if they had simply been able to take care of what's left of the Las Vegas Raiders. And what happened? COVID happened. They lost 10 starters going into this game. They not only lost Baker, they lost their second-string quarterback, Case Keenum. And I'm thinking, Baker tweeted that he was asymptomatic, and I'm thinking the NFL did give him a little bit of a reprieve, gave him 48 hours, pushed the game back. Right. Saturday all the way to Monday evening. And what happened? They still couldn't test out a protocol. Right. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I don't know the backdrop of it. But I thought, well, maybe if Baker can play, what do you think would have happened last night if Baker had played? They would have won.
The same thing that's been happening all year.
No, they would have won that game. They would have won, and they would have been in perfect position to make their run into the playoffs, and you would have been sunk. You would have been sunk because they almost won with Nick Mullins. And yet they're down 10 starters, and right away they almost tragically lose Tack McKinley because it looked like he tore his Achilles, and I haven't heard the outcome of that, but it looked like an Achilles to me. And then Myles Garrett, the best pass rusher in pro football, comes up lame in the third quarter. It looked like he pulled his groin, and they took him in the tent, and he came out and he tried to go, and he couldn't even rush the passer, which allowed Derek Carr a last-ditch drive, and he's really good at last-ditch drives because in his time in this league, he has the most of those. He's got 58 of those, and he pulled it off again. So I give it up to Derek Carr and the Raiders. They pulled it off against a semblance, a shell of the Cleveland Browns.
Cowboys, did he?
Oh, God. So my point to you is that Baker Mayfield showed you what he was last year. He had an Odell problem. And unfortunately for me, I did pick the Browns to win the AFC, and I still love my pick because it was all about health. And it was all about Odell. And I told you my caveat, my one disclaimer was, if Baker starts forcing the football early to Odell, they're going to be in trouble. And Odell missed the first 2 games, and then he came back and played 6 games, and they went 3-3, and Baker fell right back into his age-old, bad old ways, forcing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. And he became Odell-centric to the detriment of everybody else in that offense. And all of a sudden, they started looking ordinary because Odell makes a quarterback look ordinary. And I think he's going to start making Matt Stafford look ordinary because he's not all that anymore. He's not what he was cracked up to be by all the idolaters starting with you.
He doesn't have to be what he used to be.
Okay. Well, he wasn't. So here comes Baker Mayfield, and yet he gutted it out. And can we see what happened? He had him in position to win a couple of more games early, but can we see Odell's drop against the Chargers? This was just horrendous. This is a crucial late 4th down play, and he throws it right to Odell. Whoops. I thought those were the best hands this side of Purell. And then, come on, Odell. He looks like he wears unlucky number 13 there. And then there's another one against the Arizona Cardinals. They're making a big comeback. Baker's on fire. And there's another big 4th down play, and he throws it to Odell, and he dropped it. He didn't have the guts to just finish the catch and take the hit. Nope, didn't have the guts. That's your guy. That's what was happening to Baker Mayfield. Then we get to the game at Baltimore, and I'm thinking, here comes Baker. And you always say, what can he do in the clutch? I want to see him in a last-ditch drive. And if we could see him... Thank you, Odell. I've seen enough of you. I'll see you again tonight. Here's Baker in the last-ditch drive. Throws it to Jarvis, and there's the first drop. It's just horrendous.
How about a better
passes
ball?
Were dropped.
How about a better ball?
No, that was perfect black.
If you grade the 4th best quarterback, put that on him. Put that between 8 and 0.
Bingo. Deadly.
Put that on him.
Then here's to Austin Hooper. Ugh, God, that's for a 1st down. That could have changed the game right there. That's what Baker's been up against all year long, and despite all of the above.
That's what they've been up against.
All of the above. He has them in position last night to take care of the Las Vegas Raiders to get to the home stretch. And again, they got to go to Green Bay, and they got to go to Pittsburgh, and then they got Cincinnati at home. Yeah, they were positioned because that's a loaded football team. When it is healthy, when it has both backs, and it lost, obviously, Kareem Hunt once again, but at least when it has Chubb, it has a chance. And I was very disappointed last night, not only in Chubb, but in Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has been a favorite target of Baker's. And it felt like in the first half last night, Donovan Peoples-Jones had lost heart. I think the whole team had lost heart because could we see how this game started off for Nick Mullins? They should have won the game anyway. Here's Nick Mullins to Donovan Peoples-Jones early in the game. That changes the game. Here's the second one. Get him out of jail. Come on, Donovan. Hits him right in the hands, and he drops it again. This is what they're up against. Throws another one that's a little wide left, but he's making those kind of catches because he's 6 feet 4 inches tall. He can snatch those balls out of the sky. So that's how it started for this team last night, and yet it hung in and actually took the lead late, 14-13, and then the last drive happened. And why did it happen? Because the Cleveland Browns have little to no heart on defense because they're decimated by COVID. Could we see the play of the game? It's to the kid Foster Moreau, the tight end for the Raiders. Help me out here. What should have happened
Well,
here?
he's been dropping balls left and right all day.
They're out of timeouts. Just tackle him. Tackle him in bounds, and they just lay him and let him run out of bounds and get 5 more yards.
He fooled him.
This is like the play of the game. If you tackle him in bounds, if you seek and destroy the football right there, just seek and destroy and get him on the ground because he's trying to run back in bounds. If you get him on the ground, the game is going to be over because it's going to go down to 24 seconds and the clock is just going to run down and they're going to have one last ditch throw and they're not going to be able to pull it off the way they did. So I'm sorry. That's how close you came to having Baker Mayfield back on Saturday, Christmas Day, at Lambeau. Merry Christmas to you.
Can I ask you a question? Have the Browns been afflicted with injuries and COVID any worse than the Baltimore Ravens?
No.
Exactly.
But I can argue the Dallas Cowboys. I can argue a lot of teams.
Y'all haven't, first of all, no, I don't believe a team has faced more injuries. When you lose your top 3 running backs and you get guys off the street, you get Devontae Freeman, you get Murray, Latavius Murray off the street. You look at the defensive back situation. They're without their top 5 defensive backs.
Okay. So speaking of injuries, how many teams can survive a quarterback injury in game 2? None. You just can't. It's just too hard.
He ain't injured.
Huh?
He ain't injured.
Baker Mayfield, game number 2 of this football season.
Is he playing?
He goes down and he tears his labrum and he fractures his left shoulder. He has to play with a brace on his left shoulder. He's having to struggle. It affects the way you throw with your right hand. And then he gets a badly bruised knee, and then he hurts his heel to the point that he was limping for 5 straight games. And even the great Shannon Sharpe told me they got to shut him down. He can't play like this.
No, shut him down because he playing terrible. That's why you shut him down.
Well, that's not what you told me.
Yeah, that's what I say. Shut him down because you're playing terrible. Stop making excuses. I've never seen somebody make more excuses for the people they love than Skip Bayless. If you like somebody, Skip Bayless is going to find a reason. You blame Odell. You blame the injuries. You make excuses for Baker Mayfield. You never make for any other quarterback. Why?
Those legit excuses?
All I know is your guy got the commercials. Can't nobody touch him.
Nope.
He got Progressive. He got Heisman House. I'm sure he got a lot of local commercials also. But as far as play, he's the worst quarterback in that division. He's the worst quarterback in that division.
Yeah, you told me yesterday on yesterday's show that Tyler Huntley, the backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, is more accurate and throws with better anticipation than Lamar Jackson. Okay. That's what you told me yesterday.
Okay, so what does that got to do with him being better?
So he's not even better than the backup in Baltimore? Is that what we're saying?
Hold on. Tyler Huntley is not the starting quarterback. Your quarterback is the worst starting quarterback in that division. Don't try to change the subject.
No, I'm going with what you told me.
I told you your quarterback is the worst quarterback in that division.
You have made the case that Baker Mayfield is actually better than Lamar Jackson because you're way down on Lamar Jackson.
Skip, stop.
You told me repeatedly. You said his backup throws it better than he does.
Skip, just because someone throws the football better, somebody might throw the football better, that doesn't make them an overall better player.
I don't know.
Yes, don't do that.
Like it to
me. See what you try to do?
You
try to take A and you try to make it D. I never said Huntley was a better player than Lamar Jackson. I said he throws the ball more accurate and throws it with better anticipation. Those are two different things than being the better football player. But Lamar Jackson is better than Baker Mayfield. You refuse to acknowledge that.
I don't acknowledge that. I don't.
So MVP. So Baker Mayfield. So how many MVPs do you think Baker Mayfield will win in his career?
I threw that at you yesterday, and you said, "So what? That was a long time ago that he won MVP."
Skip. See, this is what you try to do. You try to say this. Well, you said somebody is more accurate than Lamar Jackson. Okay, that's true. That doesn't mean he's a better player. You try to make everything mutually exclusive. If it's this, it's got to be that. If it's that, it's got to be this. And that's not the case. That's what you always try to do. When you're down on Lamar, I've always had the same problems with Lamar Jackson. The accuracy and the anticipation. That's my only excuse. Go back and look at everything that I've said.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot when you're the quarterback.
What do you got good to say about Baker Mayfield?
I love his accuracy. I love his anticipation. I love his arm. When he's healthy,
he ain't winning.
When he's healthy, he went on a run last year, and you were quiet as a little church mouse.
He went on a run and did what?
I didn't hear anything.
Has he won the division?
I didn't hear anything.
Has he won the division?
Well, no.
Has he won an MVP?
Has he won a playoff game? Yes.
Lamar Jackson won a playoff game.
Okay, he's won one, so they're 1-1.
Okay,
right?
And they came in the same year.
Okay.
Your guy was the #1 overall pick. Nobody will say Baker Mayfield is better than Lamar Jackson. No one will say Baker Mayfield is better than Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, I'm glad you brought him up because
he won a playoff game.
Me he's that guy. He could throw it all the way across Lake Erie. He's got the biggest arm in pro football, bigger than my homeboy. And yet I saw him on that night at home against Belichick's team. And he had chance after chance to win a game in which the Patriots were content to score only 14 points. And I know it was windy, but it's always windy up there. And Belichick wouldn't let his quarterback throw more than 3 passes and complete 2 little dink passes and managed to score 14 points. And Josh Allen missed throw after throw after throw because he's not that guy. I told you that from the start. No, you refuse to believe. He's not that guy. Long-term, I'll still take Baker Mayfield.
No, what you do is that because you dug in and you don't see the thing is, Skip, when facts change, your mind, your opinion should also change. The facts of the matter is Josh Allen has played better in the National Football League than Baker Mayfield. But because you was dug in on Baker Mayfield from the beginning, you refuse to move out that point. Even though the facts have changed, you I'm stuck in my ways. I'm not going to change. I'm not that guy. If somebody plays better, if I'm wrong about a player, I'm wrong about a player. It's okay. Facts change, ideas.
Are you wrong about Sam Darnold?
Yeah, Sam Darnold. I'm wrong about saying I thought Sam Darnold would be better than what he is.
Yep.
But you also got to be wrong about Baker Mayfield.
Bust?
Because
Bust?
If Baker Mayfield's a bust?
Is Baker Mayfield a bust?
I don't know. You tell me.
Huh?
He
Well, he doesn't look like
pick.
a bust to me. He didn't look like one last year.
Well, he won't have no bust in Canton. He won't have that bust.
All right. Will Josh Allen? No.
There's a greater chance Josh Allen is a teammate of mine in Canton than Baker Mayfield.
We'll see about that long term. And you know what?
Well, he don't get a bunch of coaches fired.
I actually hope that they don't decide to go forward with Baker Mayfield and that he hits the open market. Then we'll see what his value is on the open market. And I would love to see him land elsewhere with a fresh start, with a better staff and a more stable franchise around him.
How many staffs he need? He done got 4 staffs fired.
He's got 4 of them. Yeah,
he got 4 of them fired.
Yeah, did he?
Yes.
Was it his fault?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's not what Shannon Sharpe told me.
No, ain't no Shannon Sharpe. No, don't put that on Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe had already played 14 years ago, long before Baker Mayfield was probably like 3 or 4.
Yep.
This ain't a Shannon Sharpe. This is a Baker Mayfield and his play. My play is unquestioned. Let's talk about your guy play and how bad he is. Let's talk about that.
Well, I've been talking about it. I told you what happened last year when he got Odell out of his hair and out of the way.
Odell gone now.
Yeah.
So what has he been doing?
Well, he's been hurt.
Oh, now he's hurt. You see what you do? You got an excuse for everything.
Okay. Well, are you telling me that it's a lie that he's hurt?
This is what I know about you, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is one of these people at home. Skip Bayless got a problem for every solution. Every solution you give, Skip Bayless got a problem for it. I tell you, if Baker Mayfield, I said, well, he didn't do this. He's injured. Well, he didn't do that. He Odell Beckham.
Is he not injured?
No.
Has he not been injured?
No. I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries. I don't want to hear about injuries. Show me. Show me what you promised.
He actually sucked it up and played hurt for this team to keep it in position.
Is he the first guy in NFL history to do that?
So
is this groundbreaking?
Okay, so was it his fault that they were in position last night to get to the division lead?
Well, first of all, if you Baker Mayfield, you that dude, why are you in position? Why are you only in position?
Well,
Aaron Rodgers got his guy at the top. Dak Prescott, say what you want. He got his guy at the top. Tom Brady, this one and that one. Why you have to be in position if you that dude?
Okay.
If you are what you say you are.
If you're allowed to play last night, you're tied for the lead. That's what would have happened.
No.
Yes, sir.
How many times have we seen this? Skip, you keep saying, if this would have played, I'm surprised that they lost this game. No, there's no givens in pro sports.
Well, that's a
especially with him.
Yeah, you've been ripping the Raiders right and left for the last couple of weeks.
I've been ripping Cleveland too, and him especially.
Yeah. Okay, well, if he had played last night, they would be in first place right now, and you would be in big trouble. That's all I know.
Is he got a 25th QBR, a 10th, a 19th, and 23rd. If I throw out the high and throw out that low, he's somewhere right there around 20.
And if I throw out the Odell factor, if I get rid of the Odell factor,
what?
He was a top 5 quarterback.
He was never a top 5.
Yes, he was.
I feel very comfortable.
I saw it with my own eyes.
He was never a top 5.
It wasn't for 2 or 3 games.
He was not a top 5.
It was for 11 games and a playoff game.
He's never
And by the way, the first game that Odell was gone this year, Baker led them into Cincinnati against a legit team. And just, as you say, beat the brakes out of them.
Whoa. He was injured. Hold on. He injured. How can you do that injured?
Because it was
courageous. Not because.
It was miraculous.
That's because.
Yeah.
Skip. He's not top 5.
Okay.
In the words of Embo, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Woo.
Don't sing the song. We have to pay for the song.
I'm sorry, Embo. I'm sorry. He never gonna be top 5.
They may sue you for singing it as badly.
No, good. We'll sue him for how bad he playing. Cleveland Browns fans, you hear that? You can sue if somebody play bad.
We've got serious Odell love emanating from the other side of the table, which turns into Baker hate when it arrives at this side of the table.
No, Skip Bayless.
That's what happens.
You know,
I just nailed it. It's okay. It's okay.
Time out. Everybody knows. Even Odell will tell you that when Odell was wrong, when Odell did something that I didn't think was okay, I said it right here. I've never said anything on this show that I haven't told Odell in private.
What have I told you about Baker Mayfield from the start? I don't like any of the commercials. No commercials.
You didn't tell me he's the guy?
Yeah, I didn't ever say. I said he's the guy. And he
not the guy.
Keep this Baker discussion, if we want to say discussion, going. And now that song is stuck in my head, Shannon. Thank you very much for that.
No mercy.
After saying he had a zero-tolerance policy when Antonio Brown signed with Tampa, Bruce Arians changed his stance. The Bucs coach said, quote, "The history has changed since that statement. A lot of things went on last year that I was very proud of him, and I made a decision this was best for our football team." Brown will be cleared to play for the injury-depleted Bucs against the Panthers this weekend. So, Shannon, do you believe this was Arians' decision here?
No, it's Tom Brady's decision. AB's on this roster because Tom Brady. Bruce Arians says, nah, we good. We good. And the next thing I know, they're signing AB. But I'm signing him with a caveat. One misstep, and he's out of here.
If he screws up one time, he's done.
He's done. Okay. Now, Skip, I guess he meant just for the 2020 season, and there's going to be carryover. But I didn't know we rewarded players. Nobody works harder than practice. Isn't that what an NFL player is supposed to do, work hard in practice? Skip, he was a good teammate. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? So I didn't know that we reward people for doing what they should do. Bruce Arians is rewarding Antonio Brown for being a good teammate. Damn, I thought that's what you were supposed to do. For working hard, being timely, being prompt. Wow. You see how low a bar that is? For AB, because he knew. He was AB when he was a rookie, and he saw signs then, and I'm sure he's heard. Guess what? You know who one of his best friends is? Ben Roethlisberger. They got a place down together right next door to here. It's a Reynolds plantation. So you don't think Ben Roethlisberger has told Bruce Arians about the behavior of Antonio Brown over the years? Of course he has.
And Bruce was there
in his rookie season.
It's his first year.
First year, yeah. So, with that being said, you don't think he knew what was going on? Tom Brady says, I want him. One of the reasons why Tom Brady grew frustrated in New England, he had no say in personnel. Who stayed, who went, who they might get, that was Coach Belichick and Coach Belichick only. You think Rob Gronkowski would have been allowed to come back under Coach Belichick?
Yep.
Gronk had retired. Gronk, I need you in Tampa. Bro, I don't know. I'm still in New England. We'll work that out. You want to play? Sure. Come on down. AB. I like AB. Skip, I don't have any problems. I think to make a long story short is that Tom Brady is about winning. Bruce Arians at the end says, I did what was in the best interest of this team.
He did.
That's all he had to say in the beginning. Not this, we'll make a decision. Skip, we've never heard anybody say they're going to make a decision on personnel. We don't make decisions on who we're going to cut. We keep that close to the vest. That's not something we discuss in the media. Once he said that, I came out here and told you the next day when he said what he said, I said, AB ain't going nowhere. I said, because if he was gone, that one slip up, he'd have been gone. And he's not gone. So with that being said, AB's on this roster. But he's on this roster because of TB12. You know that. Everybody that's watching this and everybody in NFL circles know the reason why Antonio Brown is still a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
On this, I concur. And it is not a great look for the Buccaneers or for TB12. We don't have enough show left to go over how ugly Antonio's resume got before he got to Tampa Bay. But he did have one little heaven-sent moment with Tom Brady, just for about 15 minutes, it felt like.
They had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, in New England.
Yes.
And he connected with him, and Tom said, I like this kid. I like what he brings. I like how hard he works. I like how he separates. I like his football IQ. I can win with that. And then, it predictably fell all apart when he took a shot at Mr. Kraft in some public post that he made.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that deal.
Right.
And then there was this incident and that incident. And it's one after another, and I can't keep up with all of Antonio's incidents. You know it, and I know it, and everybody knows all of the above.
Right.
But Brady blessed him. And Brady brought him to Tampa to start with. And to Brady's credit, I guess, I'll put quotes around credit, he turned him into a quote-unquote model citizen last year because I heard nothing about Antonio last year. By all accounts, he showed up on time, which he didn't do for the Raiders, as we saw, right?
Or the Steelers.
Or the Steelers. That's true. And he performed. And he caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, and they won it, and Brady won MVP of the Super Bowl. So Brady was a happy man at the end of the year because he got what his ultimate goal was. Damn the torpedoes, damn the criticism. I want that Lombardi. And he had it, and he actually threw it across that lake in Tampa at the victory parade,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And it was caught by Cameron Brate, which might have been the catch of the year in the National Football League and the other whatever boat he was on.
Right.
So the point is that Bruce did say 0 tolerance. One slip up, and he's gone.
Right.
And it wasn't just a slip up. He committed a federal offense.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. That's a felony offense.
Absolutely it is.
A fake vaccination card?
Yeah.
He did that. And I'm not sure how he's going to dodge all that, but he did. So far, so good, I guess. He's got friends in high places.
I guess, Skip, if the government, they like turning head, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, not that big a deal. I got it. I think it's a huge deal. For me, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a bad precedent, for sure.
It's a bad precedent. But he had one redeeming move that he made early in camp after he had lied to them and produced the fake card. He said,
Maybe
somebody
you might get
told
in trouble.
him, yeah, you could get in big trouble of this. And he's one guy who can't take any little amount of trouble because no judge in this country is going to be lenient with Antonio Brown.
You got a point.
Right?
Yep.
So Antonio says, I give up. I declare myself. Well, he got called out by his chef. He didn't.
Right.
He stiffed. He stiffed seems like everybody in his camp. Okay. So in the end, Brady had to say, no, Bruce, we got to keep him now. And I told you, I thought for Bruce Arians' sake, I thought for the morale of the locker room, this is the time when the head coach has to be the head coach and stand up and say, Tom, I'm sorry, not this time. I need to send a message to the locker room that there's one line you can't cross, and it was that line. Mm-hmm. But we know who the buck stops.
Or the 12.
Yeah. On number 12's desk, right?
Yeah. In his locker.
Yeah, at his locker, it does. Okay, so that was end of story. And it makes Bruce Arians look pitiful to me. Mm-hmm. It makes him look powerless.
Right.
Because he is powerless because Brady runs the show.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and I'm a Brady fan, but it's a bad look for Tom Brady, too, because we talked yesterday at great depth and length about how he came across in that game when he screamed at Dennis Allen. Mm-hmm. You know what he said?
Right. Yelling at the referees.
Yelling at the referees and throwing the tablet and smashing the tablet like a little kid throwing a tantrum on the sideline.
Yes.
All bad looks for Tom Brady. Well, I can argue this is even a worse look. But what do I tell you? Cold-blooded killer, win at all costs, and this is at a pretty premium cost to me. So he's just saying, I got to have him. So what happened right on time here? Poor Chris Godwin took a shot low. It's one of those shots I think they should legislate out of football. Mm-hmm. You talked about it, you brought it up. I've heard this for years, that every receiver I've ever known, dating back to the 1970s, said, please hit me high. Just hit me high. Don't hit me low. It's where I make my money. Mm-hmm. And he took one of those shots, and it went sideways, and it buckled. And as Brady said last night on his, whatever it's called.
With Jim Gray?
Yeah, the podcast, was Let's Go.
Yeah.
Let's Go podcast. He made a strong point. ACL is the kind of injury, you haven't had one, luckily, but it's a lifetime injury. You never get right from it because they have to go, for the operation, you have to go get a piece of something else like your hamstring or your patella tendon or something to. Or
maybe you think they might deal with cadaver.
They can.
They can.
Yeah.
But also, Skip, Chris Godwin is on a one-year deal. Chris Godwin signed the franchise tag.
Yeah.
Now, how many teams you think going to be beating down his door to give him a long-term deal?
It's a terrible thing that happened.
And that's why I say, go get your money.
It's hard to come back from it. Okay, so now if I can just be pure cold-blooded football, Antonio, I told you yesterday, it's almost like a godsend. He's become the savior of the Buccaneers because the truth is, I believe that Tom Brady slightly prefers Antonio as a receiver over Chris Godwin.
I don't think so, Skip, because Chris Godwin makes those tough catches. You see, he's clear. All those screens, Skip, all those tough catches, he's looking for Godwin.
Okay, but it's all possession. It's all underneath.
You know why, Skip? Because when you're 44, you don't want to hold the ball and let guys get down the field. Chris Godwin is there immediately, taking those collisions. That's why Chris got it, because as soon as he caught the ball, and look, the DB was right there and put his helmet on his knee.
I got it. But even those jailbreak screens that he runs, they're scary to me because they're dangerous.
Yeah.
Like you have to turn and look the ball in, and then you got to turn it up and try to run through 5 guys.
You coming this way, D-line coming that way.
You know what? It's almost like an onside kick.
Yes.
It has the danger of the onside. It's why they don't love the onside kicks, right?
Right.
Okay, so what happened the other night against New Orleans at Tampa is that they have 6 DBs who are Velcro, who all of them, that they get what the Buccaneers do, and they just lock down on them. And what does Brady need? He needs instant separation. He needs somebody somewhere, because he'll speed read it. But if he speed reads and nobody gets any separation and he has to pad it once, look out.
Hey, okay, Cam Jordan. Okay, Davenport. Hey, we made him clutch it. We made him come off his first read. Yeah, he wants that first read, Skip.
Because if you do, I say your odds go up like 80% that he's not going to complete this ball, because he's not mobile. We've seen breakaway every once in a while. But again, he's also 44, and he's smart enough to know he's not going to try to die for the cause in the middle of the pocket by taking a shot in the mouth to complete a 5-yard pass.
Exactly.
He's just going to fold up and go down.
Skip, as long as you've covered this league, you know this. You go back to the 70 Cowboys. It's all about play. It's all about talent. They will take a bad guy that's extremely talented as opposed to a good guy that can't play. All this he's so good. He's good in the community. He's a good teammate. Can he play?
Lord have mercy on the 70s Cowboys.
Yeah, you know how. I know about the yes.
Oh, you want to talk about bad actors?
Yeah. Woo. Yes. Yes. But that's what it goes back to. Tom Brady said, you know what? If I win a Super Bowl 20 years from now, y'all ain't going to remember that was me that stood up for Antonio Brown and the transgressions that he had.
Okay, so the reason I believe in Tom's eyes he's slightly more valuable than Chris Godwin was is because AB gives them finally a deep threat. They haven't had one all year to speak of because little Scotty Miller fell out of favor. I don't know why, but he had a turf toe, and it was bad, I guess, because he was gone for a long time, and he hasn't been able to climb back out of Tom's doghouse.
And guess what Tom like? Tom's like repetitions. Tom like guys that's on the practice field with him. So he has a feel. If you look at last year with Tyler Johnson was on the field. He liked Tyler. Yep. Tyler Johnson? I think Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, and he's more possession.
Yes, but he's on the practice field with him, getting that time and getting that rhythm. You're not going to go out there with Tom, Skip, with no practice.
But against New Orleans, you're throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Gronk and maybe a little Tyler Johnson. They're all possession. They can't run by you at all. Mike can deke you a little bit, but you're going to have to throw him a jump ball that he's going to, at 6'5", go up and snatch over your head. Same with Gronk. But the point is, if I hark back to opening Thursday night against my Dallas Cowboys, do you remember this play? If we could please see it. This is AB at his best right now. This is what Brady has missed, is the ability. This is just a straight go route on the other AB, my AB, Anthony Brown. And we haven't seen that in a long time now. And I'm going to suggest to you, you're going to see a little bit more of this because he can still fly. He can run by you.
It's going to be interesting to see how they play it this week because the Carolina Panthers do have Stephon Gilmore. Now with no Chris Godwin, possibly no Mike Evans, do you take Stephon Gilmore and says, okay, you take AB, and then we get physical everywhere else and see if we can get home? Yeah, because that's what New Orleans can do. New Orleans can take Marshawn Lattimore and says, Marshawn, you got Mike Evans. Now we're about to play deep. We're about to play football with Chris Godwin and these other guys, knowing that Marshawn can take him one-on-one. Well, if you don't have anybody that can take any of these guys one-on-one, you can only help so much somewhere, and the guys are going to win. Other guys are going to win. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you got Gronk, and you have AB. That's what made it almost virtually impossible for you to cover these guys.
Okay, so they got one break with Mike Evans because they're saying it was just a strained hamstring and that he's kind of 50-50 to play on Sunday.
I would rest him.
Okay, well,
because that's the one thing, Skip, you know them hamstrings. Man, them things start nagging.
I would agree. And that Brashard Perriman, who caught the walk-off the previous game, he was in COVID protocol, so he would come back. And once upon a time, he came out of college running 4.25.
Yeah, he was a number one pick, Skip.
Okay, he's mid-first round.
I think the Ravens. Yes.
I think he was the 16th overall. Okay, so I think they're still okay, but AB is right on time, and I can't condemn them from a football decision. I mean, is he not like savior? Thank you.
And this is purely a football decision.
It is. Okay, so here's my final point here. Knowing AB the way I think I know him, I would suggest to you, now that you sent him the message that you're it, man, will he act up or act out at some point? No. I don't know.
But I do
will he feel empowered now that he's finally in control of this situation?
He might. I mean, that's normally what happened. That's what he did in Pittsburgh. That's what he did in Oakland because he felt y'all can't do anything without me. And then, Juju emerged, and Steelers like, well, we got Juju. And come to find out, Juju was a byproduct of AB.
That is correct.
And so he got to Oakland. They gave him all that money to sign. And he just like, well, I don't want to practice. Man, I need my helmet. When they had already said you can't have this helmet, they're obsolete. He just basically gave the Raiders his butt to kiss.
He did. Well, I wonder if he will try to get away with that in Tampa.
I think he has a little bit too much respect for Tom. But how much respect did he have for Tom when he tried to get a fake vaccine card, knowing that could possibly jeopardize Tom because Tom was counting on him?
Great question.
We'll see.
We're going to leave it for now, guys. We need to talk about Shannon's team, the Lakers. And I'm just telling you the latest here. They will be without Anthony Davis for 4 weeks at this point, guys. And Russell Westbrook says he is ready to step up in his absence. After Sunday's loss to the Bulls, the former MVP said, quote, "The game will tell you always what to do, whether that's scoring more, passing more, rebounding more, whatever that may be. But AD is obviously a huge part of our team, and we got to figure out how to play without him for some time. It's something we just got to adjust to and something we can figure out." So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust Russ to fill AD's void right now?
I trust him 0.
0?
And this is when AD wasn't playing like AD. Skip, if you go back and look at it, AD has not had a good season. AD had not played well at all, with the exception of maybe 2 games. AD has not played the way AD was supposed to be playing. AD was supposed to be the number 1 option. AD was supposed to be the leading scorer of this team like he was his first year in L.A. AD hadn't come close to that. But the last thing I want Russ is to do more. That's the last thing. You want a guy that's inefficient, that's turnover prone, doing more? Skip, he said something very interesting. I scratched my head. He said the game will dictate what you should do.
What he said.
So all these games where they say, Russ, don't turn the ball over. Russ, it's a 1-on-4. They got 4 guys back. And you go like a bull in China shop and throw the ball out of bounds. So the game didn't dictate that. So the game, Russ, you shooting 30% from the 3-point line. Don't jack up. So the game ain't dictate that. Now the game with AD is removed, the game is going to dictate how he plays when the game is never dictated how he plays. He plays how he plays and then try to dictate how the game should be played.
Yep.
So I got no confidence that he's going to do all these great things. This notion, man, but Russ plays hard. Yeah, playing hard and playing smart are entirely 2 different things. And that's what I see. So the last thing that I want from Russ is a guy that's inefficient, a guy that doesn't play defense, with exception of maybe you get locked in as a 1-possession game. A guy that doesn't shoot the ball well. Guy that turns the ball over at an alarming rate to do more. No, I need him to do less.
So, Mr. Sharpe, when I read the quote you just referred to last night, I couldn't stop laughing because it's straight comedy. It's like a Saturday Night Live routine, and he uttered these words right after the game they had just lost on Sunday evening at Chicago, a game in which, he had 6 turnovers.
Right.
6 more to extend his NBA turnover lead to 141. 141. He is now 11 ahead of James Harden, who obviously has been shut down in the turnover, quote-unquote, race. This is horrendously bad. And the quote in question is the all-time self-absorbed, delusional quote from a guy who just doesn't get it.
No.
He is, as my mother used to call me, bullheaded to the point that he can't see past the end of his own nose. All he knows is, I have averaged triple-doubles 4 of the last 5 years. I am a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. I had Gotham Chopra do a documentary on me that premiered just as my season was starting, as I returned home to be the starting point guard, the savior of my Los Angeles Lakers that I grew up living and dying for in the LA area as a kid. He has arrived in his basketball heaven, and he's so delusional that he very earnestly and straight-faced talked about how this is how I'm going to replace AD. You have to, as he said, you have to let the game tell you what to do. Let the game tell you?
So the game ain't been talking to him at all. The game must be can't talk anymore.
Can we see the falsehoods that the game was telling him on Sunday night. I got to see the 6 turnovers just from Sunday night. These are just the last 6, not all 141. This is just the last 6.
What the game say? What the game say here, Russ?
Tell him.
Throw it out of bounds.
Tell you throw it out of bounds. Russ, the game told you not to miss that shot.
No, he pushed off a crucial first. Yeah. What about that? What the game tell you?
Russ, the game's talking. The game says don't. Russ said do.
What about
Russ,
this?
the game said don't throw that pass. There are too many red jerseys in the way. The game says, Russ, take it easy. Whoops. He didn't see Lonzo Ball. You said yesterday, Lonzo's trailing the play. You knew that.
Yeah.
And he trails right into the passing lane and easily intercepts the pass. The game always tells you what to do. Are you kidding me?
Okay, the game might tell you what to do, but are you listening? That's the question, Skip. Are you listening? Can you hear what the game is saying? And are you listening as the game is telling you what you should do? No, because this is the way I play. This is the way I've always played. And Skip, it got me an MVP. It got me on the 75th anniversary team. Yep. It's gotten me 10 All-Stars. It's got me triple doubles for the last 5 years.
That's correct.
I've listened to the game, and this is what the game has told me how I should play.
Yep. And by the way, he's now averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. He's still within striking distance of a triple-double this year for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't think he's sort of licking his chops now that AD's out? He's thinking, hey, a little more usage rate.
I don't know about his assist total going up or his rebounding totals are definitely going up. But, hold up. AD getting by 18 shots a game.
Yep.
That means me and Bron going to divvy that thing up. So, that's a few more shots for me.
So Russell Westbrook has not only shot the heart out of this team, but he's passed the heart. He's turned over the heart of this team again and again because all those are so demoralizing to a basketball team because they're relentlessly bad. They just keep going. I told you yesterday, 141 turnovers, about a third of the way through the season?
Yes.
I defy anybody to put a tape together of all 141 and tell me it's not the worst string of turnovers, the most embarrassing, humiliating, indefensible string of ugly turnovers you've ever seen in the history of this league.
Right.
And it's from a guy who's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Well, you can't win. You can't overcome it because let's say he was a deadly shooter and he shot Steph like 3% from the three-point line.
Right.
He's shooting 31.4%. That ranks 140th of 159 three-point shooters. It's just not good enough because that's bad enough without the turnover.
Right.
From the free throw line, he can get to the free throw line. His 65.9% from the free throw line, that's horrendous. That's like a 7-footer bad, you know? He ranks 103 of 104.
So he leads the league in turnovers. He's one of the worst three-point shooters. He's one of the worst free throw shooters. And somehow he's going to add what?
Well, he's probably in basketball heaven because he thinks, I got this now. And yet, I checked the spread this morning, and Phoenix is coming to Staples Center tonight. Phoenix is favored by 7 points. And I'm thinking, that's impossibly bad. We know Phoenix has been very good, but you saw Phoenix versus L.A. last year. What was first round. And AD was in and out of the lineup, hurt or not hurt, and it mattered.
Right.
Because it felt like Phoenix got a break. Right? It felt like because AD wasn't able to go, that they got a huge break.
Well, Skip, I sure wish the game would have told him what Russ was supposed to do when LeBron was out. I guess the game wouldn't speak to him then. I guess the game couldn't talk. Because this is the reason why they got him. If LeBron misses time or he needs rest in a back-to-back, AD, this is what you got. So we're going to always have 2 superstars on the court. So whether one in or out, we got 3. But if one's in and out, we good to go. So, damn, I guess he game ain't talking to me when LeBron was out. So it's talking to me now, though.
I think he's hearing real voices in his head, and it ain't the game. So
we're in trouble, Skip.
Shannon Sharpe says he has a scale of 1 to 10, 0 trust in Russ, which is the number that he wears. And I always call him 0 for 0 rings. And I would agree with you. I would have 0 trust in him to replace Anthony Davis.
But, Skip, I am not willing to put all of this on Russ. Yes, Russ is what I thought he would be. I'm more disappointed in Anthony Davis's play than I am Russell Westbrook's play because I knew exactly what I was going to get from him. So therefore, I'm not disappointed. Skip, you can't disappoint me if I already know what you're going to be. Anthony Davis has been a disappointment, Skip.
And I don't know has been. Because it's an effort, a lack of effort. Yeah. Like he's not engaged, and I don't know why. I don't know.
Skip,
he just doesn't seem into it.
You saw Friday night, even before the injury. You saw how he was on offensive end. Skip, now he's turned into the worst outside shooters of qualified shooters in the NBA. His jump shot has abandoned him. Now, I don't know if he's gained too much weight and it's altered.
He does look a little thick to me.
And it's altered his shot.
Yep.
But Skip, AD mid-range game used to be money. AD shooting the ball now, I like, that ain't going in. That ain't going in. That ain't going in. And the reason why he's averaging slightly over 20 points is that he was leading the league in paint. Points, excuse me. But outside, so I'm not willing to put this on Russ. Russ is what I thought he would be. I'm more disappointed in AD's play this year than I am Russell Westbrook.
Really?
Because I already knew what Russell was going to bring to the table.
You just accept what he was and what he wasn't.
Just accept it.
Okay. This is an opening for LeBron to make a run at what would be unprecedented, an MVP in year 19. I will give you, he has been as great in year 19 as anybody has ever been.
Right.
Because nobody's been very great in year 19.
No.
I mean, it's not that hard, but he is playing still at a very high level, but not high enough.
No.
At this stage, he's about to turn 37 on December 30th, right? Mm-hmm. So we're getting close to happy birthday. But the point is, he can't sustain it. He can give you spurts of MVP quality play, but he can't sustain it for 4 quarters.
The thing is, Skip, I look at LeBron as Tom. Tom could still play, but a lot of it was being diminished because of the talent around him. You look at what they had in New England. He goes to Tampa and gets a Godwin. He gets a Mike Evans. He gets a Cameron Brate offensive line that protect him. So at this stage, LeBron needs... It is what it is. He needs more help. He needs Anthony Davis to be New Orleans Pelicans Anthony Davis. Yep. He hadn't got that. Russ is going to be Russ. Russ is going to be inefficient, turnover, high volume. That's what he's going to be. That's what he is, Skip. That's why I was saying I don't see how this worked even. But if anybody can make it work with LeBron, but I don't even see how he can get it to work.
Well, the odds makers are saying he can't because Phoenix is coming into your place.
And Phoenix is playing unbelievable.
Yeah, but they're 7-point favorites.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day that a LeBron team at Staples would be a 7-point underdog.
Considering what we going out there with, Skip, I'm surprised it's not 17.
I mean, there's still Melo and Rondo and
Skip.
Monk and...
Is Monk out of protocol?
I don't know. Austin Reeves has become your closer, an undrafted rookie out of Oklahoma.
Skip, in spurts, though. I mean, you're asking, though, you were expecting to have Melo play somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. Melo up in the 28, 30 minutes. You're asking guys to play more. You're asking guys to give you more than what you were originally expecting from them. I don't think they thought Melo was going to be playing this much. Austin Reeves was going to be playing this much.
No.
Monk and those guys were going to be playing as much as they're asking them to play. LeBron definitely wasn't supposed to be playing no 37, 38 minutes. He was supposed to be somewhere around. I get it. He wants to play, but take 5 minutes off that. But he can't. I mean, he's playing these minutes, Skip. That's the only chance they have of winning, kind of like KD, and they brought Kyrie back to take some of the burden off him. They can't bring anybody to take that burden off LeBron because if LeBron's not out there, you know it goes to hell in a handbasket.
It does. They got Ariza back the other night. That helps defensively a little bit. Kendrick Nunn should be back pretty soon. Could help with a little offensive pop. But I don't know. It's not looking good because in Russ, I do not trust.
No mercy.
The Cowboys currently sit in the second spot in the NFC playoff picture, and their surprising defense has been a key cog in their success this season. Dallas is tied for the league lead with 31 takeaways and have already surpassed expectations as they sit at 10-4. How about those numbers? Shannon, are the Cowboys overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
You better hope so.
I do not. Because I already know what they are, Skip Bayless. Normally, the number 2 seed in the conference are really Super Bowl contending teams. I don't believe you guys are that because here's your last 3 wins. You lost 2 in a row. You lost to Kansas City. You lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. And you told me you have little to no respect for the Vegas Raiders.
Well, because you told me that.
No, you told me. They beat your team. You told me that's the team. That's your team.
Yep.
Lost to them at home on Thanksgiving.
In overtime.
And you threw this whole turkey, dressing, everything that Ernestine had slaved over, threw it in the trash because you were sick.
She has never slaved over any turkey. But it was a nice try. Yeah.
You beat Taysom Hill, you beat Taylor Heineke, and you beat Mike Glennon. And now you like,
yep.
You happy with that. That's who you beat, Skip. And all this, look, your defense is playing unbelievable. That's what you should do. You play bad teams, bad offensive teams. You punish them. You get the turnovers. What is this, like 2 or 3 games in a row that you got at least 4 turnovers? That's what you should do. You should punish the bad teams. But here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying, oh, Dak gonna snap out of it. Really? I mean, if we look at Dak's career, it's this and this.
It is.
Who says you're going to snap out of it? Maybe we've already seen the best of Dak. Maybe it's wishful thinking on you and others' part that Dak is somehow magically going to be this MVP-level quarterback. All I know is that when you get to the playoffs, the teams are better than the teams that in your division. You feasted on a horrible division, and you know that. But fortunate for me, and unfortunately for you, your day of reckoning is coming. And it's going to get here sooner rather than later.
And that day will be a home playoff game, says Shannon Sharpe, correct?
But see, the home playoff losses hurt the most because you got 80,000 of your fans. We're going to the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, you see them. We suck. We do this every year. Dak, boo, trade Dak. It's coming. You know it, and I know it, and I'm right here for it. I'm right here for it.
And you are predicting we will fall to which team at home in the first playoff game?
I mean, everything is just so. I'm kind of hoping you get a rematch with old first cousin.
Really?
Yeah, but I know if you get the 49ers, it's a wrap for you. If you get the 49ers, it's a wrap. Kittle gonna go crazy.
Are you kidding? You'd want to see first cousins, third cousins at Dallas?
I want to see any team take it on the Cowboys in Jerry World because you ain't got no home field advantage. You don't have a Lambeau. You don't have an Arrowhead. You don't.
In fact, we don't really have a home field advantage.
Exactly.
Because our stage is the world stage.
Exactly.
Because it's about concerts and big games and college games and Final
monster
Fours.
trucks and bull riding. That's what you have up in there.
Big concerts, country concerts, George Strait. Whoever, name them. They've played there because it belongs to the world. It's the 8th wonder of the world. Way to go, Jerry. Okay, it is my turn. My football team is dramatically underrated right now, dangerously underrated. And I'd bang the table over here, but I banged it so hard yesterday my hand is still black and blue, so I can't bang
for front running. That's what happened to your hand. You front running.
No, I just ran. That's all I did because they ran over the Giants. At least my defense did. The question we're asking right now is the question of the 2021 NFL football season. Because the Dallas Cowboys have become the X factor of the season because I think nobody knows exactly what to do with my Dallas Cowboys.
Even
because I'll give you some of that. but I believe we have not seen the best of them. I believe they have not come close to peaking yet. I believe what Troy Aikman said a week ago is exactly dead on correct, that no complete game yet. Just wait until they play one big complete game where the offense starts to measure up to the defense.
You sure they got it in them?
I do, because I've seen it before. I saw it on opening night. I told you moral victory. I thought Dak Prescott matched the GOAT throw for throw. It went down to a walk-off by the GOAT's team on a last-second, minute and 24-second drive. It took that after Dak had driven my team down to what looked like could be the game-winning 29-28 field goal.
Okay.
And then my quarterback went all the way across the country to SoFi Stadium up against Justin Herbert. He's the next it kid. Okay, and my quarterback outplayed him in that game with a late game-winning drive for a field goal that Mike McCarthy almost time managed.
Zerline bailed you out.
And he bailed him out. 56 yards. It's a long field goal, but Dak completed 5 big throws in that drive to set it up. So I've seen it. I've seen it before. I've seen him be in the MVP conversation after 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
I know he's got a little bit of MVP in him somewhere, and he is in a slump. I give you, he's in a slump.
Hold on, Skip. You saw him in the MVP conversation 2 years ago, remember? Those first 3 games against bad teams? Mm-hmm. Now he's playing bad teams and it doesn't look like an MVP discussion. So what's going on?
So he has a trio of receivers who, as a threesome, I think are at the top of the list.
Yeah.
You can argue different ones. You can do Minnesota, whoever you want to do. But you can do Tampa. You used to be able to do Tampa.
You're right.
But the point is, I'll take my 3 receivers. And I'm starting to warm back up to my 2 running backs because in a shock to me, and this is like meant to be, Tony Pollard avoided being lost for the season with a torn plantar fascia. And he looked like Tony Pollard to me because I saw that 6th and 7th gear. When he hits that edge, whew. And Zeke, with that first burst of a 13-yard run, that was a flashback to 2016. And I saw him look a little healthier and a little quicker and maybe a touch faster than he has because he always runs hard, but he usually just tries to run through brick walls.
Right.
Okay? So I'm starting to trust my running game. If Ty Smith comes back at left tackle, he's a Hall of Famer, obviously. But he's on the downside.
But Skip, he plays a game, he's hurt the next game, and he's out.
Okay, what if he plays down the stretch? What if he can play the last 5 or 6 games?
But what we've seen from him over the last 3 to 4 years of him starting the season, not finishing the season, and even being hurt some point in time during the season. So are you counting on that?
Well, I'm giving you the what if here. The potential is staggering because I give you the issues, but the potential outweighs the issues to me. I give you issues. I give you an owner who makes cockamamie statement after statement. I don't love it, but I can't fire Jerry. It's like he isn't in a public office where I can vote him out.
Right.
I'm stuck with him, right? Till death do we part.
You can't even boo him out.
I can't boo him out. I can't do anything to get him out of the way and into the shadows.
Okay.
He's going to be front and center.
Correct.
And I don't love my head coach because I think he gets overmatched and overwhelmed.
I thought you liked him. You told me you had a made man.
I thought so. Well, he won a Super Bowl once upon a time. And I give you this. I think Aaron carried him to that Super Bowl. I didn't know that at the time, but I believe that was all about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I know so. Well, since Mike McCarthy's been gone, Aaron Rodgers has 3 division titles. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been in 2 NFC championship games. And he and Tom Brady are locked in a dead heat for MVP, says the betting site.
But he hadn't won another Super Bowl.
No. I'm saying, but you look at the level of success that he's had without Mike McCarthy versus the success Mike McCarthy's had without him.
Oh, well, I'll buy that for sure. So I'm stuck with him. And I'm even stuck in a way with the Dan Quinn, who has revitalized and revamped the whole defense. And as I agree with one thing Mike McCarthy said all year, he has never in his entire career seen one side of the ball flipped the way they flipped their defense over the offseason. Right. I concur. I give you that. Right. Well, it's in part because 11 from heaven fell right out of their...
Skip, look at Tampa's offense. Yeah, they threw for a lot of yards, but they weren't nearly as efficient as when Tom Brady got there. One player, especially if he's lights out, Tom Brady, Michael Parsons, he can flip a defense. And because pressure is everything.
Yeah, it flipped it, and all of a sudden, I told you Randy Gregory was poised for a Pro Bowl takeoff. Yeah. And DeMarcus Lawrence was gone for a while, but now he's back, and he seems like he's back full steam.
That's because of the rookie. Those guys are playing like they're playing because of that rookie.
I agree. He has contagious energy, and they criminally misuse him because they don't let him rush the passer. And at New York, I don't know what was going on. He's playing coverage like 75% of the time. He's the best passer. This is Pro Football Focus. The number 1 edge rusher in pro football is Micah Parsons, who didn't get to rush the passer in New York. I thought he could just terrorize Mike Glennon all game long, and he wound up with no sacks, no pressures, and 1 assisted tackle.
Well, don't you get the Washington football team this week? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he should do what he did last time he played. Didn't he have 2 sacks and a forced fumble?
He did. And he hit Taylor Heineke so hard in the first quarter, I guess the second quarter of that game. He hit him so hard, he wound up in the tent, and I don't think he was ever the same when he tried to come back in. And by the way, Kyle Allen played most of the rest of the game.
But every week, Skip, we ask this question, and we've been asking this question for the better part of 6 weeks. Dak turning it around. When is Dak going to turn it around? Well, he's going to turn it around. When? Are we sure that's what's going to happen? Are we sure he's capable of doing that?
Does he have weapons?
Yes. But you saw with those weapons. Now, you were upset. You came here yesterday. You were upset with Amari 2 for 8. You was upset with CD. You were upset with Gallup.
How much is that the quarterback's fault? Because Jerry and Steven have been trying to argue that it's the receiver's fault. They're running the wrong route.
Man, ain't nobody running the wrong route.
They're not. No. I agree. It starts and ends with number 4, who is a 4th-round draft choice, who sometimes plays like no more than a 4th-round draft choice. But he has nuclear capability. You know it and I know it. He can get hot.
Right.
And to me, he's also a big game player. We saw it right out of the box that first year, rookie starter against Aaron Rodgers in a home playoff game. He was really good in that game. He threw for 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception where Dez went the wrong way. Remember that?
21-3. Okay. There's no pressure.
21-3. That was the defense's fault.
It
was the defense's fault.
Hold on.
And then what happened? 31 all happened.
And then what happened?
31 to 31.
He went to Jared.
Went to Jared?
Jared Cook.
Jared Cook. He did go to Jared Cook. Did. I don't know what happened.
Oh, look, Skip, why you blame the defense? It's not like Green Bay got the ball and got all of their 21 points and kicked the ball, they score.
My point is, did Dak choke in that game? No, he didn't choke.
First half, Skip, he didn't play well.
Okay, but when he got rolling, he rolled on
Yeah,
them.
I mean, the momentum switch. Okay. And then Aaron Rodgers said, let me get this thing back, because y'all about to crown this guy and say he better than me, because you was talking about that earlier. Remember, they went to Lambeau and beat him. Yeah, and then Dak beat Russell Wilson in a home playoff game, and then he came out here and played Jared Goff and outplayed Jared Goff. No, he did not outplay Jared Goff.
Go look at the
Jared
QBR.
Goff put a Lamar Jackson on him.
Go look at the QBR. He did. It was 3rd and long.
He looking back at a...
Okay, but...
I read it.
Guess who had the higher QBR? Dak did. Dak played well enough to win that game.
Skip, it's hard to have a high QBR when I'm just turning around, handing the ball off. We ran for 3 bills on you. How am I going to get a high QBR when I ain't got to do anything but just hand it off?
On the play of the game, it was 4th and short, and they handed it to Zeke right up the middle, and he ran right into 99. Way to go.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And then Jared Goff took off on y'all. Y'all had him. Y'all thought y'all had him, and Jared Goff took off on you.
He did. He did that. Because Jared Goff is not bad.
Oh, he's not bad.
I think Jared Goff's better than Matt Stafford.
No, you don't think that.
I do.
No, you don't think that.
I told you that from the start.
Oh, I tell you what. You're going to find out the hard way.
Okay.
You see what you heard what you said? Now, you're going to be sorry.
I did hear what I said.
You heard what he said, Matt. Okay. When you get your hands on him, do what you do.
Just remember what I said about Matt Stafford. Bright lights, big city, not that guy.
Yeah. Remember what I said about Dak Prescott?
Yep.
He's not it. He's not
Guess
that guy.
what? I got to do one last thing, Jenny. I got to remind Shannon. My team is now tied for the lead in takeaways in the National Football League. My team is 1st in the National Football League in interceptions. My team is now 2nd in the National Football League in turnover ratio, which is the all-encompassing stat.
Yeah.
It's the tell-all. Those are Super Bowl numbers I just gave you.
Imagine.
I will hang my hat on those numbers.
Imagine if your team wasn't giving it away.
Yep, that is true. If Dak didn't give it away so much, we'd be leading in turnover ratio, and we might be Super Bowl bound.
Aaron Rodgers going to say nothing.
Okay. Well, Dan Quinn has proven to be a great addition to the Cowboys.
Might have to start rooting for Tampa.
Their defense is playing. All right, I'm going to remind you that you did bring that up just now.
No mercy.
Celebrate Christmas with a boom. Fox Sports proudly presents a documentary tribute to one of football's most beloved figures, the coach, the broadcaster, the video game. All Madden premieres Christmas Day, 2 Eastern on Fox. Cannot wait. This one will definitely be special. Well, guys, as we all know by now, Deion Sanders made waves by flipping top recruit Travis Hunter to Jackson State last week, and the move generated a lot of buzz for HBCUs. Well, Terrell Owens was on a streaming broadcast that also featured Shannon, and when discussing Hunter, T.O. said, quote, "There's not a white coach that can go into a black man's home and do what Deion did. That's very special." So, Shannon, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on the subject?
Well, I think the thing is, Deion is, Coach Prime is different than just any black coach. He's Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He's the greatest corner to ever play the game, so he comes in with a different type of cachet. Now, remind you, Skip, this is only his 2nd year. His first year got cut short by COVID. It's almost like when Coach Robinson from Grambling used to go, Skip, when you have the level of success that he has, it's easier for him to go back into a home when you get a Willie Davis and you get a Doug Williams and you get Shaq, Shaq Harrison, you get a Charlie Joyner. Well, they see those guys go to the NFL. It's a lot easier for you to set foot in a home. Now, excuse me, this kid, Travis Hunter, I believe wants to play defensive back. The greatest defensive back is sitting on my couch, talking to my mom, my family, my grandmother, saying that I believe your son can play at the next level. I would love to have the opportunity to not only help your son in life, but help your son reach his lifelong goal, which is to play in the National Football League.
Yep.
That's what I can provide for your son. I don't have the resources. I don't have the medical resources. But educationally, Jackson State is just as good as Alabama.
Or Florida State.
Yep. But that's what he's saying, because that's what you have to sell, Skip.
Yep.
You have to be able to sell these kids. These kids, they go to Alabama, they said, if you're good enough to go to Alabama, we're good enough to go play on Sunday. Well, this kid believes that he's good enough to play on Sunday. He's trusting Deion Sanders to develop him, not only football-wise, but also, Skip, life.
Yep.
And that's what Deion can do. Skip, people don't know this. People think Deion just started coaching. He's always been coaching. As a matter of fact, he brought about 3 or 4 teams to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they played football that weekend. So he had a lot of duties. He had to coach and had his Hall of Fame obligations.
Yep.
He coached his sons all through high school. So he's always been coaching, and he wasn't always just coaching 18, 19-year-olds. He was coaching 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. So he has the patience, and that's something that he's always wanted to do. He's unique in that way because he's Deion Sanders. He's played professional football at the highest level. So when people put a lot of stock, when a professional athlete says, this guy can do this or this guy can do that, people normally take that to the bank. So he's different. Now, give him the opportunity like Coach Saban. Give him some years to put some time in, because Coach Saban comes in and says, this is what I do. Every graduating class that I've had has won a national title, has won an SEC title.
Yep.
4 of the last 6 Heisman Trophy winners, I had them. That's a unique pitch. Very different. No other coach can say that. But Deion can come in and says, you know my resume. I believe you can play. Let me help you develop that skill. Not only that skill, but life skills to be a better man, a better son, a better father, a better husband.
True. Yep.
That's what he's selling.
That's what he's selling. So I preface everything I'm about to say with the fact that when I looked down at my computer and I saw the story that Travis Hunter had chosen Deion Sanders and an HBCU, I got goosebumps.
Right.
That was landmark.
Right.
That was groundbreaking, or should I say re-breaking.
Well, Skip, prior to that, I had been talking to him, and we talk every week, and he says, we're going to get him. We talk, he said, we're going to get this kid. Skip, I'm saying to myself, bro, I love, you're not going to get that kid. He's like, oh, yeah, we're going to get him.
A lot of services had him number 1 overall in the country as a two-way because he can play wide out or DB.
Yes.
And I think Deion, who also played some wide out, is going to try to do a little of both. But to your point, I think his future lies on Deion's side of the ball ultimately. Right. Okay. Now, back to T.O.'s comment. No white coach could have done this. Well, I agree, because the coach in question, the black coach in question, is Deion Sanders. It's like game over. Right. Because you know him very well. I know him a little. I got to cover him. I had the privilege of covering him. You want to talk about charisma? You know his charisma level.
I do.
It is overwhelming. He is gifted with the gift of gab.
Yes.
He can sell Deion. He can sell Jackson State. He can sell his aura and his legacy and his future. Listen, Jackson State has an all-timer. And I've told you this before, but once upon a time back in the 1970s, I also had the privilege and honor of spending an entire week with Coach Rob, as they call it, Eddie Robinson. Coach Rob, Grambling State University. And I went on the recruiting trail with him. And dare I say, he was MLK-like in his ability to present himself, to public speak or private speak to these kids and their mamas. Right. Because he was an orator and he had a different kind of charisma than Deion, because Coach Rob didn't play. He played at the college level, but he wasn't a great pro player. But the point was, he became a legendary figure, which allowed him to be a legendary recruiter because you want to talk about a pro pipeline at Grambling. They had it all the way down to through Doug Williams and my man Everson Walls, who then came to Dallas and set the interception record of 11 in 81.
You look at all the pro players that Coach Rob put in the NFL.
Oh, okay. Those were the days, and they could be the days again. And yet I look at why did Travis Hunter choose to leave Florida State? He'd already committed to Florida State, which, by the way, has now a white coach, had Willie Taggart for a couple of years, and it didn't work with Willie, black coach, so Mike Norvell is the coach. But Travis Hunter posted something that was brilliant and eloquent and insightful to me about why he made this choice. And he starts out by saying, Florida State has always been a beacon for me because my roots were there, and I never doubted I would play for the Seminoles. So this is a tough turnaround now. This is one where Deion is up against the ultimate challenge to talk that kid out of that school because in his heart of hearts,
that's where he's always wanted to play.
He grew up, he said, I'm going to be a Seminole. Well, Deion was a Seminole, so he can appreciate that fact, right? And then he goes on to say that he decided, I want to be part of history, and more important, I want to be part of the future. HBCUs. So it wasn't just Deion. Deion sold himself, but the larger picture was, please help me break through here. It used to be, and it could be again. So this kid is saying, I take the challenge. I want to be a beacon for Jackson State and HBCUs. Well, congratulations, because I think you can carry that torch. Because you're number one ranked.
Well, for the Skip, and the outcry came because Jackson State is not supposed, HBCUs are not supposed to get guys like this. You're supposed to get the guys that we don't want. If we want them, you can't have them. It's just like anything, Skip. I'll give you the toys that I don't want to play with. If I want to play with the toys, I don't want you to have it.
Okay, but it didn't used to be this way because the white coaches weren't even trying to recruit those guys.
With integration, because you couldn't. The schools were segregated, so they didn't have a choice. But then all of a sudden, they're like, hold on. Al Davis and Hank Stram, then we started going to these historic. What's the general manager, Skip? Gil Brandt. Rayfield Wright. They started going down. They get Too Tall Jones. They get Hollywood. They started
Anderson, Langston University.
Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They went and got Donnie Shell, John Stallworth.
They had that legendary scout.
Bill Nunn. Bill Nunn. His son was a famous actor. Bill Nunn Jr. was Radio Raheem.
Good point.
Do the right thing. So, Skip, once they found out, hold on, this is untapped potential. Sam Cunningham, USC, they went down to Alabama, and they blew the doors off Coach Bryant.
They did.
We got to go get some of them.
They beat the doors that opened.
Beat the doors down. Made them open the doors. So that's what happened, Skip. And then all of a sudden, the Skip's like, man, they want me. They started going to these PWIs, predominantly white institutions, and a lot of the historically black institutions started losing their talent base because the talent base. You look at it, Skip, the early, like the 60s and 70s Hall of Famers, the lion's share of them came from historically black institutions.
They did. I got it. I chuckle every time you say PWIs because all the PWIs have predominantly black football teams, right?
They do. They have predominantly black football teams, but they have predominantly white student base. But Skip, I just think the thing is with him, if give him like you said, he's so charismatic. The dude can sell salt to a snail. There's nothing that you listen at him talk, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going there. And that's what happened. He got in there, he's like, well, come on down, come on. And he got there again. And his mom's like, baby, you hear what he's saying? I really think that'd be a good place for you. I really think he can help you. I like.
By the way, he can. Like this is the match made in heaven right here. For this kid, I don't blame him a bit for doing this. And I'm also hoping that Deion, with all of his power, could swing some kind of NIL type deal for this kid. And I'm guessing he did. I don't know that, but the sky's the limit now. So he deserves to be taken care of some way. And I'm hoping Jackson State has enough booster power behind it.
But they travel, Skip. If you look at when they go, they sell out their home stadium. They sell 55,000, 60,000. There was the number one HBCU as far as attendance. They travel. I looked at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, and I saw JSU gear all over the place.
Really?
Yes. Ooh. Yes. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Hugh, and he said, man, you can't find JSU gear nowhere in the state.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Okay.
it was unbelievable. And he's bringing not only what he did to Jackson State, Skip, but he's putting more visibility. And a lot of the athletes, Skip, you see LeBron James, he outfitted FAMU basketball team with the LeBrons. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul has been unbelievable. A lot of the guys, you see Donovan Mitchell, a lot of the guys wearing HBCU gear, putting more eyes.
So the final irony of this is, who are the two co-stars of the latest Aflac commercials? It's Coach Prime and Coach Saban.
Yep.
And right now, the only coach who could rival Deion in the living room of a black player is Coach Saban.
Yep.
Because he can sell NFL bound.
Hey,
right?
He's coming there, Skip, and put those rings on the table and say, look, hey, this is me at the picture of the Heisman Trophy winners. I got 4 of the last 6.
Yeah.
Hey, who else can say that?
It's pretty tough.
Look at all these wide receivers. I got another. Jameson Williams going to be a first-round pick.
He does. Yep.
I got like 6 of them. Look at my running backs.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of offensive line.
It's incredible. I'd love to be a fly just in the room with Deion on a recruiting.
Give him time.
And just, he blows me away every time I hear more about him, and I love just the inside you have, Shannon, obviously being close to them.
No mercy.
After losing Saturday to the Colts, Bill Belichick's postgame presser lasted all of 6 minutes. Surprisingly, the Patriots head coach pivoted as he said he was sorry to reporters yesterday. Take a listen.
I apologize if, I seemed like I was a little short with you after the game. Obviously a frustrating game. Down 20-0, didn't do anything well enough. I mean, there isn't really much to say at that point without watching the film. Clearly, we had problems in every area. So, there was no simple answer. Not really trying to be short, but honestly, there wasn't too much to say. I don't know that there's a whole lot more to say now.
Gosh, he's so interesting to me. His facial expressions. Shannon, what's going on here?
I have no idea. Where did this come from, Skip? I was shocked when I saw it. The only thing I would have said, Coach, don't say if. I apologize for being short.
Yeah.
Why are you up there? If you didn't think you were short, you wouldn't have come up there. Because, Skip, if you go back and check this man's interviews out, Skip, he's been short after losses his whole entire career since he's been in New England. So we got 20-plus years of data that say you've always been short. You've been dismissive. You've been curt. Lack of a better word, you've been a jerk. When you lose ball games, he's short. That's why he and Tom Brady got a lot in common. They got a lot more in common than they got differences, Skip. But that's my only thing, Skip. Just say, you know what? I apologize for being short. Man, it's tough. Somehow we've assumed, this is what we've done as a society. We think if you're dismissive or you're a jerk after a loss, that means you care more. It doesn't. Coach Belichick, we know you care. We know how much time you put in there. Coach Belichick, I would assume, probably spends 100 hours a week. Because that's what when I was in Denver, Skip, at our height in the mid-90s, 96, 97, 98, they were spending 100-plus hours a week on film study, making sure there was no stone unturned.
Yep.
So I assume that's what Coach Belichick, you don't have that level of success pulling the Steve Spurrier. I got a tea time at 3, I got to make sure I make it, Skip. That ain't how you do business in the NFL. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but I believe he's an old school guy, and that's the way he's going to do it. I can't even commend him for apologizing because you did the right thing. I don't like to give credit when you're doing what's right. You shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. Got obligations, Skip. I mean, hey, man, they beat us. We didn't take care of the football early in the ball game. We didn't run it as well as we'd like to. We didn't stop their run. Jonathan Taylor had a big game. There's a way you can dress it up without being up there. Okay, bye. So he did what he did, but you're going to have a couple of more press conferences. You got 20 years of this kind of behavior, Coach Belichick.
Okay. I preface these remarks by telling you, of all the coaches I've ever closely observed, this guy's the shrewdest operator. There's always some method to the madness. He has a little bit of, maybe a lot of scoundrel in him, as I told you again and again.
Lot. Ain't no little.
I'll remind you, this is the guy who called his own press conference the day before they left for that Super Bowl at the end of the 2014 season. Remember when Deflategate hit in the AFC Championship game? He called his own press conference and basically said, "Don't look at me. Ask my quarterback.
I got nothing.
I don't know anything about footballs deflating. I don't know. Ask him.
Ask Tommy.
Ask Tommy." Okay. That's a big reason that Tom Brady is in.
Oh, he threw him under the bus, Skip. He threw him under the bus. He did.
Okay. So to me, and I'm just doing this from a distance, but I believe I'm right about this. At the core of every move that Bill Belichick now makes is his competition with Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Right.
It is Super Bowl versus Super Bowl. Right now it's becoming Coach of the Year versus MVP.
Right.
So Bill doesn't miss a trick. Oh. He saw on Sunday night what happened.
I'm going to beat Tom to the punch. I'm going to Okay, I see where you're going with this, Skip.
Yeah, because Tom looked awful. But he's highly capable of looking awful, and I didn't try to defend it.
Right.
He's screaming at Dennis Allen, "Go F yourself." He's throwing the tablet. He's screaming at the referees. It was a bad look because he had an even worse game than Belichick had Saturday night at Indy, and that was a pretty bad showing for Bill Belichick. Because I'm going to remind everybody, they got a punt block, did the New England Patriots for the third time this year, and it was recovered for a touchdown. Right. It's hard to overcome that on the road. Mm-hmm. They had at least 3 crucial penalties at key moments that came across to me as like bad team kind of penalties. You just don't, if you're the New England Patriots, you don't do that.
They don't normally do those kind of mistakes.
And then when push came to shove, they let loose Jonathan Taylor for 67 yards and a touchdown that just broke the game open and broke their backs.
Yep.
Okay, it's indefensible, and I don't disagree with his post-game. I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. So he kept answering. He said, "I answered the same question for the 5th time." And I said, "That's enough. I'm out of here."
Right.
Okay, then I think he saw the opening to win back some love points from the media because Coach of the Year is voted upon by media members. Right. You better be careful not to bite the hands that could feed you Coach of the Year, because I believe Coach of the Year at his advanced age would be a huge thing for him without Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And I believe he's in position to close the deal unless they fall on their face down the stretch. Mm-hmm. They got another big game with Buffalo at home. Yep. Okay, so I think he saw an opening to say, "Hey, I'm lovable. I'm Bill Belichick." Right. And between the lines, he's saying, "Look at that guy in Tampa."
Because that's one of the biggest similarities that they have. They're both very sore, poor losers. Both of them. They become very dismissive after the loss. Like, Tom was like, he was frustrated. We got to play better. We got to do this. But Coach Belichick let these one-word answers. Like, I'm just here because I'm the head coach.
Yeah, I'm to the point now I just laugh at it. It's funny to me.
Yeah, I don't even, Skip. I understand that you guys have your job to do, and when you were in that business, you have a job to do. Yeah. But what do I get from what he says? What can I put down in my column or in my piece? Yeah. Like, okay, this was very insightful. Coach Belichick said this.
Okay, only once. After the Jacksonville AFC Championship game in Foxborough. Yeah. Tom Brady had actually needed, he said, 12 stitches to close a gash in the palm, right under the thumb of his throwing hand, and had played with said stitches in his hand. And what did Belichick say after the game? It wasn't exactly open heart surgery. Okay, now that's a line. That's a bam.
Well, I'm sure that was headlines.
Yeah. But that's rare. But that was a shot at the quarterback. Let's not exaggerate what he pulled off. Right. And all Brady had done in the fourth quarter, remember, he threw for 124 and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And they came back from 20-10 down early in the fourth quarter to win it 24-20. Right. And get to another Super Bowl.
And they said, Tom played well. He's like, we had a lot of guys play well.
Okay.
Man, Coach Belichick.
All right. But those are the only memorable lines that you're going to get from
it. Or I guess if you want to say own to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What I'm saying? He just kept repeating that.
Cincinnati. He said it about 5 times.
He's not going to give you a whole lot to go with. It's not going to like, oh, man, I think you should be the editor because you can get Coach Belichick to speak of certain things that nobody else can. Yep. He doesn't give a whole lot of sit-downs. If he gives a sit-down, he thinks very highly of the person. He's not just sitting down just to, I think Coach Parcells, he sat down with Coach Parcells
And Saban.
And Coach Saban, yeah. He and Coach Saban are a lot alike. I guarantee you, Coach Saban runs Alabama a lot like Coach Saban runs the New York.
Like Belichick.
Yeah, Coach Belichick,
I agree. So his final line yesterday was, but it's not your fault to the media. It was a frustrating game. So I'm not blaming it on you. And he's hoping to win just some brownie points back from the media.
So you actually thought they thought it was their fault that you were short with them?
Right. It's not your fault.
No mercy.
Spend Christmas Eve with Undisputed at our regular time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We will preview Aaron Rodgers and the big Packers-Browns Christmas Day game on Fox, plus a look ahead on LeBron and all the marquee action from the NBA. So be sure to tune in. Join us. Celebrate the holiday this Friday on FS1. Well, Odell Beckham Jr. has scored a touchdown in 3 straight games for the Rams and looks more and more like the receiver we saw in New York instead of the one that fizzled with Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Well, LA is set to play the Seahawks tonight on Fox as they make a late push for the NFC West title. So, Shannon, from here on out, where will OBJ rank among Rams receivers and catches?
Well, obviously, he's going to be behind Cooper Kupp and Jefferson. Skip, the thing is with that, and that's not a knock on Odell. That's just the way this offense is set up. Sean McVay offense is not really predicated on throwing the ball outside the numbers, working outside the numbers. If you look at what they do, most of their work comes inside the numbers. Now, Cooper Kupp catches some balls on the sideline, Skip. It's normally he starts on one side of the field going all the way to the other. He doesn't work outside the numbers. So I give Sean McVay some credit that he's coming up with schemes to get Odell involved outside the numbers. Odell was not brought in to be a necessity. He was brought in to be a luxury, but had to become a necessity for the simple fact as soon as he got there on a Wednesday, that Friday, Robert Woods tore his ACL. And so now what you thought, we got a luxury, man. We got Odell. We can, hey, we got Robert Woods. We got Cooper Kupp. We got Jefferson. Okay, we straight. Hey, now we get single coverage. Odell can win against single coverage. Now he's had to be somewhat of a necessity as opposed to a luxury because Woods is down, because Higbee is in protocol. He tested positive. He missed the game, tested negative, then went back in on Friday. So he's going to be out this game. So Odell has become, he's not going to be, and Odell was not brought in to be what he was at the Giants. He's not going to be that, not with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to get the 12, 15 targets a game. Jefferson's going to get his targets because remember, Skip, they moved on from Deshaun Jackson because they wanted Jefferson to get more run. And Jefferson was also an outsider. D-Jack had that one game against Tampa where he lit him up over the top and said he's been calm. So that's not McVay's offense. But Odell is doing what they ask him to do. You get one-on-one coverage, I need you to win. And he's done that. So Odell is going to be just fine. You don't worry about that. You'll find out how valuable he is if you have to play him. If Anthony Brown, ain't his name, number 30, Anthony Brown, if he has to play him, you'll find out how good Odell is. You'll find out.
He's our AB, right?
Always burned.
Yeah. No, he's Antonio Brown of the secondary.
No, yeah, okay.
Okay. Everything you just said, I'm trying to make sense of, but 2 plus 2 don't equal 4. They equal 13, which is Odell's number.
Yeah.
Because if it was all Baker's fault in Cleveland, if Odell's demise in Cleveland was all Baker's fault, well, then once he was set free, as LeBron said, free Odell, once he's free and he goes to the Los Angeles Rams with the boy wonder calling plays, well, then he should rise and shine back to the top of the list of targets for Matt Stafford because he's that guy.
So you got a guy. Cooper Kupp has an opportunity to do something hadn't been done since my brother did it. Be the outright Triple Crown winner. So he's just going to jump that. The man has over 113 catches, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, and so Odell rises to the top of that.
Your first remark was, obviously, he's not going to be better than Cooper Kupp or Van Johnson.
No, he's not going to get the...
what's his name? Van
Jefferson. Yeah, Sean Jefferson's son.
Yeah, right.
Skip, no, he's not going to get those targets. But he wasn't brought in to be better than Kupp. He was brought in to be alongside, actually, Skip, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. You know that.
Okay, but it's not like Odell's 35 years old.
No.
Right?
No.
And he's still 29? Yeah, he's been battered. He's been beat up. I got that. But, again, if I put Odell and Cooper Kupp in a vacuum, and I just try to do them at a combine, I'd say,
but in a combine,
Odell, he's got the greatest hands in the history of hands.
Nobody has had, at this juncture of the season, no other player has had the numbers that Cooper Kupp has had. He has an outside shot at 2,000. So you want Odell, who got there in the middle of the year, to all of a sudden get more targets than Cooper Kupp. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if he's a revolutionary receiver, to use Odell's line, his hands are like Purell. They work 99.9% of the time.
Yes.
Then I'm saying, show me. Like, take it over. You're that guy. You can't. Van Jefferson can't be better than you.
It's not that he's better, Skip.
The point is, as a target, I'm pretty sure Tyler Higbee will end up with more targets and catches than Odell will.
Yes.
And you've called Odell the guy who it was Baker's fault. You have now called him a single coverage luxury.
I did not, Skip. I never said it was a Baker's fault that Odell wasn't successful. Just like I said it wasn't Odell's fault that Baker wasn't successful. All I said is it didn't work. The reasons why it didn't work is unimportant.
I thought
is that
you said
it
it was
didn't
all
work.
Baker's fault.
No, it's his fault that they're not winning. Because you want to give him all the credit, so give him that blame. Put that blame. Give him that blame. You said he went on that level. He was the third, fourth highest rated player. He won a playoff game. He. But when it comes to them losing, you say we. No, it's he still.
I know, but everybody, starting with Odell's father, tried to make it out that it was all Baker's fault, that Baker couldn't get him the football.
But hold on, what'd you just do? You showed drops. You showed drops against San Diego. You showed drops against Arizona, trying to show that it was Odell's fault. Mm-hmm. So why can't his daddy put a 10-minute montage together to show Baker can't get him the ball?
Well, is he still that guy? Is he like a number one type receiver? Because trust me, if somehow Sean McVay acquired Devontae Adams right now, well, he'd just go right to the top. Cooper Kupp would have to take a back seat.
I tell you what, how about this here? Did Julio Jones go to the top in Tennessee? With A.J. Brown there.
But he's on the downside.
So now he's on the man just went to the Pro Bowl.
Is Odell on the downside?
No, Skip, you know good and well Odell was not going to go where Cooper Kupp is leading the league. He's on pace to be an outright triple crown, which hadn't happened in 30 years.
Okay, but Odell brings superstar mystique. Am I right about that?
Let me ask you a
much
question.
of it is social media generated. He's a social media creation because he's got a billion idolaters. He's got more than LeBron does.
Skip, there's only been a handful of triple crown winners at the wide receiver position.
I get all that.
So Odell should move to the top of that.
Well, if he's what the internet thinks he is, I will bet you there are billions of people out there right now that are scratching their heads wondering, why isn't Odell the number one receiver for the Rams?
Okay, well, why wasn't Gronk the number one receiver? He's the GOAT tight end. Why didn't he move to the top of the food chain in Tampa?
Well, you could argue he did.
No, he did not.
Well, when crunch time came, all the big throws go to Gronk.
Skip, he didn't. Okay, so why you need AB? You still got Gronk on the team. Now, you was just down on Gronk. You remember what you came in and said yesterday about Gronk? Yeah, he had 11 targets. He caught 2. That's not good enough, Gronk. That's what you said. I don't know.
Okay, but because he was covered, he couldn't get open. Tom kept forcing him the ball, and Malcolm Jenkins was all over him all day and all night.
Skip.
He was all over him. He threw him 11 targets. He caught 2 balls for 29 yards. I've never seen a better single coverage job than Malcolm Jenkins did.
Skip, I get it. It's easy. Because what you're trying to do, you're trying to say that, well, since Odell is not the number one receiver at the Rams, he can't be any good. When they didn't bring him to there to be that. So let me ask you a question. If Robert Woods is still healthy, so Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, you think Odell should jump to the top of the food chain against those two?
He would actually be the 5th option. That when he got there, I thought he's going to be the 5th option, where he'll get 4 targets a game and hopefully he'll catch 3 of them for 60 yards.
But Skip, you think about AB. This is what makes them so dynamic, because if you double Godwin, you double Mike Evans, you get AB working one-on-one. If you double 2, somebody's working one-on-one. That's what makes them so dangerous. So now if you try to take Cooper Kupp away, you try to take somebody else away, Odell gets one-on-one. Van Jefferson gets one-on-one. Higbee can win a lot of times against the linebackers. That's what you have to have. What makes Aaron Rodgers did on Sunday, they basically lined 2 guys up on Devontae and said, we're not giving you Devontae. Van Scanlon said, I'll step up, and that's what you have to have.
Okay, but why wouldn't everybody line up 2 guys on Devontae and say, you can't have it?
I don't know.
Bill Belichick would.
I don't know.
Say you can't have it.
I don't know. I don't know.
And Aaron was raving after the game. This was unprecedented. He's the best receiver in football.
It's not, first of all, it's not unprecedented. They did that a lot against Calvin Johnson. Megatron actually had guys lined up in the gunner formation, which it wasn't no stack. They treated him like he was a gunner. They put one guy, two guys right here and said, okay, now Megatron, try to do something.
Okay. Well, why wouldn't you? Yeah. Well, he's it. Yeah. Right now, Devontae is it. But I don't see anything like him. His run after catch is like terrorizing.
Well, that's what you try to do, Skip. You try to I'm going to beat you. If you're a right-handed guy, I'm going to make you beat me with your left hand. If you're left-handed, I'm going to make you. So Devontae is your guy. I'm going to make you beat me with Lazard. I'm going to make you, and Skip, even Mercedes Lewis. All of a sudden, Skip, Mercedes Lewis is like 22 months younger than me. He's still playing. And he's making contributions. We know he can block, but Aaron, buy some time, get him the ball, Mercedes get you a first down. So that's what you have to have.
I got it. But my point about Odell is when he first arrived in Cleveland, he was viewed as a savior. He was viewed as clearly rising above Jarvis Landry, his college
Let him stay
best
healthy.
buddy.
You'll see.
Right?
You'll see if he can stay healthy. No more setbacks. You'll see.
What will I see? The fifth best receiver?
Don't worry about it. Sometimes it comes down. He just needs to make one play.
Okay, but if he's the fifth best receiver in L.A., then he can't be the first best in Cleveland.
Don't worry about it. Cleveland shouldn't worry about it. You shouldn't worry about what's going on in Cleveland. Worry about Baker. You and I both know you got the worst quarterback in the division. You got the fifth best quarterback in your own division.
Yeah, but my quarterback, Baker Mayfield, was treating Odell like he was the number one receiver.
You was and Cleveland was treating Baker like he was Mahomes, like he was Aaron Rodgers, like he was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, he played 11 games last year when he was.
Whoa. Played 11 games? Yep. When did the NFL season hadn't been 11 games. I don't know if it's ever been. I can remember when it was 12 games, and then it went to 14.
No Odell last year.
So hold on,
Odell comes back, and all of a sudden it goes to hell.
Hold on. So in 2019, how many games did they play? They played 16. He had 19 QBR. 2018, he played a bunch of games. 23rd QBR. This season, 25th.
Yeah, you just skipped over that one last year.
I'm going to give you, Skip. I threw out his high season. 25th, well, I mean, his bad season, 25th. His high season, which is 10th. So I'm just going to work with the 19th and 23. That put him at 21.
His epitaph in Cleveland is going to read, stuck with Odell.
No. Guess what? And the same thing they say, he was stuck with Hugh Jackson. He was stuck with Freddie K. He was always stuck. Guess what they said? You bad on my resume. You make me look bad.
You thought Freddie K was a clown.
No.
You did.
That guy. Freddie K. Freddie K. put all his hopes in Baker. That was Freddie K. first mistake.
4 coaches and 4 coordinators in 4 years.
Yeah, that's what happened.
With that.
When you play that position poorly, you have a bunch of coaches, a bunch of coordinators, because they're trying to see what it is, Skip. They try to find out a reason why you're bad. They say it's got to be the coach. Well, it's got to be the OC. It's got to be the position coach. And come to find out, he keep getting coach after coordinator fired. And come to find out, Skip, if every time you walk into a room, be like, what's that smell? It's you. That's really.
Come to find out that Odell Beckham Jr. is the 5th best receiver for the Rams. Interesting.
And guess what? And he gonna get a ring too.
No mercy.
Fox Bet Super 6 is giving everyone a chance to win a house this week. Scan the QR code, download the app, and enter your picks in the Christmas special contest. Then opt into the house giveaway sweepstakes for your free chance to win a house. One lucky winner will be announced on Christmas Day during the Browns-Packers game on Fox. What a way to open presents on Saturday with a new house. Best of luck in this one, guys. Well, Joel Embiid came up huge for the 76ers last night. Philadelphia center dropped 41 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks in their 108-103 win over the Celtics. And after the game, Skip tweeted, "If you just watched the Sixers rally past the Celtics at Boston, you know what I know. Joel Embiid is the best big man in basketball." Shannon, does Skip have a point?
Hell no. First of all, he got 41 points against Ennis Freedom Cantor.
I think it's Enes Kanter Freedom.
Okay, so in other words, you free to get as many points as you want.
Really?
Yeah, everybody doing that. Skip, that's Enes Kanter. Really, let's be real now. Stop it like he's a defensive guy, like he's a Mutombo or what if he's a Rudy Gobert at the defensive center position. He's not. Skip, Joel Embiid, Jokic averages 26 points, 13.5 rebounds, 7.5%. 7.5 assists, shooting 59%. He averages more points, 2.5 more rebounds, 3.5% more assists more, and shoots 14% higher. Skip, did you know this? He's averaging the same number of points, more rebounds, more assists, shooting a higher percentage than his MVP season. But this is where I'm gonna get you, because you love PER. You say it's the QBR. What QBR is, the quarterback, and how you evaluate a player at the quarterback position.
Yep.
That's what PER is. Nikola Jokic is number 1 in PR. Giannis is number 2. Joel is number 3. But this is where I'm gonna get you at right here, Skip. The gap between Jokic and Joel Embiid is so big, it's the same gap that Joel Embiid has at number 3 to Williams at number 42 for the Boston Celtics. Let that sink in for a second. The gap between 1 and 3 is the same difference between 3 and 42. The Skip, Joel Embiid is legit. There is nothing bad you can say about him. But Nikola Jokic is the best big man in basketball. And just between me and you, I don't want nobody to hear this. It ain't that close.
Shannon Sharpe. I watched this fourth quarter last night, and I sat back in awe because there is nothing like Joel Embiid when he is right. There are some things wrong with Joel Embiid. He's not always healthy, and he's not always happy. And when he's not healthy and not happy, he's nothing. But when he's right, when he is engaged, when he says, give me the ball and get out of my way, Jokic cannot hold a candle in the wind to him.
Man, stop it.
This guy is unbelievably good because this guy can get to the free throw line like nobody in basketball. LeBron James can't get to the free throw line like this guy can, but especially down the stretch. Nobody is more clutch at the free throw line than this guy, the polar opposite of LeBron James. You want to talk about
That ain't got nothing to do with LeBron and Jokic.
Okay, well, I'm just throwing it in.
No.
Again, my one pet peeve about LeBron is he runs from the late
Can he
game
shoot free throws better than Jokic?
Yes.
That's not what the percentages say.
Well, look how many more he shoots than
They got to
Jokic.
do me.
Yeah, how many more? How many more? Look at just even last year. Embiid shot 548 to Jokic's 392. That's a staggering. That's from here to to Philadelphia.
But Skip, here's the thing. He just shoots so many more free throws, but he's averaging less points. He doesn't average the same. He's averaging more rebounds. He averages more assists. And he's doing it without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Huh?
Can we see what Embiid did just shooting the basketball? Because nobody can shoot jump shots like that. When he is on, he's like Kevin Durant on.
I can get 4 points on Ennis Freedom.
Really?
Yeah, I can get 4 points on him.
Yeah, watch this. This is clutch. This is a big shot. That shot put them up 3. These are clutch shots. There's another one.
Where's the defense?
Again.
You talk about LeBron James not playing defense. What is Indiana doing?
Look at that. Who can do that at 7 feet tall?
Nikola Jokic.
Ooh.
Nikola Jokic. Yoke. I told you last year. I guarantee you, Nikola Jokic will be all NBA first team. Bet something on it. Because one is the 5 seed right now in the Western Conference, and the other is the 6 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic.
I'm just eye testing.
You
Give
need
me
your eyes
this guy
checked.
any day.
Eat more
any
carrots.
night. This guy.
Eat more
that's
carrots,
a
yeah.
myth. That's a
That ain't no myth.
wives'
It ain't no-
tale.
no, it ain't no wives.
Carrots don't help your vision. Stop it.
Well, whatever. We'll put some Visine or something. Whatever you need LASIK. They done upgraded the technology skill.
I got it. I'm still 2015, so I am good to go. And my TV was 2015 last night, and I saw a guy who can dominate in ways Jokic never dreamed of dominating. I saw a Joel Embiid who is nasty. When he decides he's got a mean streak in him and he says, give me the ball and I got this.
Skip, I mean...
Jokic can't do that.
Skip, first of all, Ennis Canner started. Ennis Freedom. My bad, I'm sorry. Ennis Freedom started. He played... First of all, Freedom should never play 40 minutes. He should play 40 minutes in like 4 games. So by 10 minutes a game. Skip, he can't play defense. He's all offense. Oh, he was 7 of 10. But he got cooked on the defensive end. Gave it up, man. 41. Got a 41 piece. Because he had him basically the whole night. Joel Embiid played 40 minutes and 14 seconds. Ennis Freedom played 40 minutes and 13 seconds. So what you want me to do with that? What you think Yoke would have done to him?
Joel Embiid had 17 in the fourth quarter, including 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Look at what he does. Every night I look at his free throws, and I just marvel because nobody does this. 12 of 14 from the free throw. LeBron only dreams of this.
This is about Nikola Jokic, the best big man. Well, let's put some dew on it. Let's see who's going to get first team All-NBA big man.
I'm not going to do
Why
that.
not? You say you got Joel Embiid.
Jokic is like a media marvel. The media hates Joel Embiid.
They love Joel Embiid.
They do not.
Ain't no media.
Stop
There you go.
it.
You see what you tried to do? Now you want to create this notion that the media hates Joel Embiid just to make your point that he's better. And if he don't get All-NBA, it's because the media hates him. Maybe it's because Nikola Jokic is just better. That ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, if I want to win a basketball game, I will take Joel Embiid.
Didn't Jokic?
Yeah,
you remember what Jokic did to your team in the bubble? Do you remember what he did to your team in the bubble? In the fourth quarter? 3-1, down 3-1.
Stop it.
You remember he did that, Skip?
Jamal Murray did that.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
I can't believe you say that.
Denver underachieves every year, you know it, and I know.
Hey, what about Philly?
Well, they scare people
Do you
to
remember?
death.
Hold on. Did y'all just lose to Atlanta Hawks last year?
Thanks to Ben Simmons.
Oh, now you blame Ben Simmons.
Well,
my goodness.
You blame
that guy, Ben Simmons.
I did not get to. No, I did not.
No mercy.
Yesterday, Tom Brady was named to his 15th Pro Bowl. His 15th nod helped him break the record for most selections ever, and you can see why he got the honor this year as he leads the league in both passing touchdowns and yards. So, Shannon, 15 Pro Bowls, it is a ton. We have to admit that. How difficult will it be to break this record?
It's going to be very, very difficult. It's quite a feat. It's a huge honor, an accomplishment to go to that many times because they're saying you're one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the conference. I'm guessing that Rodgers is also the other guy, and I'm thinking probably Matthew Stafford, maybe Kyler Murray, but I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to be the guy. Whoever the alternate is, they'll get selected because Tom Brady never goes to the Pro Bowl. Aaron Rodgers doesn't usually go, so the first alternate, the second alternate, you're probably going to get an opportunity to go to the Pro Bowl. But Skip, look. The only person that I can see probably breaking this would probably be a quarterback because those are guys that's probably going to stay longer. You see these guys staying around a lot longer and they can still put up numbers the way the game is structured for them. But it's a huge credit to Tom because as we start to get older, Skip, it's harder to ward off those injuries. And he's done a great job. But this is very deserving. This is not a lifetime achievement award where they just says, okay, Tom is in his 22nd year. He might not come back. Just vote him in. No, he deserved to be there. And it's quite an accomplishment and kudos. Having gone to the Pro Bowl a number of times, and sometimes you think you probably should go and you don't go. But Tom was very, very deserving of this because remember last year, Skip, he didn't make it.
Did not.
So
this is not your classic longevity.
No.
Right?
No.
Okay, because at 44, if you make the Pro Bowl, you make the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
You have to actually do that because they're not going to just shoo you in because you're 44 years of age.
You might get, Skip, that like we've seen that in hockey. We've seen that in baseball where Cal Ripken, they put Cal in there and then they let him start. But they don't do that in football, bro.
No,
you get what you earn.
So just for the record, Tom Brady has not made a Pro Bowl since 2018. Last year, his first year in Tampa, he threw 40 touchdown passes, the franchise record to 12 interceptions. They went 11-5. He did not make the Pro Bowl, which I actually think motivated him to go win Super Bowl MVP. So it discouraged me a little bit this year. I wish he had new motivation. But here's the point about this record of 15. It's getting close to unbreakable now, but I don't think he's finished yet.
Right.
Do I think he could make 1 or 2 more? I do. Yeah. I think he could.
Yeah.
Weapons notwithstanding, you have to have some weapons around you. Your health has to continue to be fairly high, especially with your weaponry.
Right.
Okay. So could he make 2 more? Could he get it to 17? He well could. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. If he got it to even 16, I think it's unbreakable.
Well, I think it's unbreakable now, Skip, because when you look at it, I mean, the guy that's probably going to go, Aaron Rodgers is in year 16, 17. So in order to get to that, Rodgers has been to how many? He probably need to go about 8 more to have a chance. I mean, so it's probably going to take a quarterback, Skip, to be able to play that long and to play at that high level.
Well, it can only be a quarterback.
Exactly.
Right?
At first, you look at some of the guys. It was Peyton and Tony Gonzalez, and I think Merlin Olsen and Bruce Matthews.
That's correct.
The mere fact that an offensive and defensive lineman I mean, Bruce played 20 years. I don't know how long Merlin Olsen played.
Yeah, I covered him with the Rams, and he was a stud.
Yeah.
He was...
People remember him most from Father Murphy and Little House on the Prairie.
No, that is correct. He became a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he was a heck of a football player. He was part of the Fearsome Foursome with Lamar Lundy, Rosie Greer, and Deacon Jones.
But that is a good point, that those guys did it as a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty great. So we get Peyton and your man Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
That's pretty extraordinary.
Tony went to 14 and 17 years. I think Peyton went to 14 and 18 years. But for Tom to still be playing at this level, I mean, look, I understand the league is a different era now. But for he's still playing it's not like he's the only one that's playing in this era. Other quarterbacks are playing too, and he's still putting up numbers that's comparable to what these young guys are putting up. So take your hat off. Give him credit now. We
have a bulletin here on Undisputed. Shannon Sharpe just said something nice about Tom Brady.
I always say something nice about him.
Never say anything
Yes,
nice.
I do. Yes, I do, Skip.
So congratulations to us.
To us?
Yeah.
We're going to remember this day.
No mercy.
He is currently a 7-point underdog against the Suns at Staples Center, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Shannon, do you give LeBron and the Lakers any shot tonight?
It's hard to say no shot because LeBron James is on the team, but I only give them a 10% chance of winning.
10%?
10. That's all I got for you. And
I'm only LeBron James at home?
That's why I gave him 10. Because if it wasn't LeBron James, I would give them 0% chance.
That's all you got.
Suns have the second best record in the NBA. They're 24-5.
They actually have been, by percentage points,
they get the best record. Okay, yeah. Okay. And you want me to pick?
They're 7-point favorites at Staples.
Give me the points then. You so big and bad. Give me the points, and I got the Lakers.
You don't have your closer, Austin Reeves. COVID. You don't have THT. You don't have Avery Bradley. You don't have Dwight Howard.
I got the Lakers.
Did I just talk you out of it?
Yeah, you did. Well, I don't even want the points now. We ain't got no bigs. We got these. JaVale McGee has been playing unbelievable. DeAndre Ayton is playing good because he want that max deal.
He does.
No deal. I was going to go for 7, but nope, I don't want it.
I'm sorry, it could get ugly tonight at Staples.
LeBron might go for 40. LeBron might go for 40 and win this thing.
He should.
He should now.
MVP. Make a run.
No, can we get him back on track?
Okay,
fine. No deal. Either way, we will discuss it tomorrow. Skip Shannon. We're back tomorrow, same time. The Herd is on now with Colin and Joy. Have a great day, guys.